Hi, today I'm going to do the SAT section on logical comparison. It's on Khan Academy under SAT Logical Comparison. This section compares different things and it has to make sense. For example, the first one that they have on Khan Academy is something like, my backyard chickens are better than the other neighborhood. That doesn't make any sense because a neighborhood is a collection of buildings, blocks, places people live. Chickens are little birds that lay eggs. We can't compare chickens to a neighborhood. We have to say, my neighborhood's backyard chickens are better than the other neighborhood's chickens. Here's another one. The rendition of Beethovens Fifth at the Los Angeles Philharmonic was more lyrical than at the Boston Symphony Hall. Well, that doesn't make any sense because you're comparing a performance of a piece of music to a venue, a concert hall. So we have to say the rendition of Beethoven's Fifth at the Los Angeles Philharmonic was more lyrical, meaning better, than that at the Boston Symphony Hall. Here's another one. Because the holes in Swiss cheese are caused by bacteria that produce carbon dioxide, fewer bacteria means less. It means less, that doesn't make any sense. Means less what? It should say means fewer holes. Some argue that the music of the 1990s differs from the 2000s in that the latter contains more voice enhancements. Latter means the later thing that they mention in the sentence. So that one is comparing the music of the 1990s with the years 2000 through 2010, like the 2000s or 2009. That doesn't make any sense because we can't compare music pieces to time. We have to compare the music from then to the music from the 2000s. So music from the 1990s differs from the music of the 2000s or that of the 2000s. The distance from New York to London is greater than the city of Maine to California. The city of Maine, that doesn't make sense because Maine is a state. And we can't compare distance, which is just numbers, to places. That doesn't make any sense. We have to compare the places to other places, or we have to compare the distance to a different distance. So that one should be changed to the distance from New York to London is greater than the distance from Maine to California. Because frozen vegetables do not require oil or large amounts of water, they are likely healthier than other forms of cooking. Well, vegetables to other methods of cooking, one is vegetables, one is the food, and one is the cooking directions. So one is tangible, the food is tangible, the cooking directions are just ideas. They're just steps or directions, instructions. So that doesn't make any sense. We have to compare vegetables from one kitchen or method to vegetables from another cooking method. So, because frozen vegetables do not require oil or large amounts of water, they are likely healthier than vegetables prepared by other methods. Next one. Amy Poehler believes that it's better to ask people what they don't want to do than college. Okay, that compares college to all the other things you could do. Or that one compares asking a question to asking a different question. So, the correct form would be, Amy Poehler believes that it's better to ask people what they don't want to do than what they would like to do. What do you want to do? What don't you want to do? In a repetition of last year, this year's National Spelling Bee ended with 2 co-champions. In a repetition of last year, well, last year was the whole 365 days. It wasn't one competition. So we can compare this year's competition to last year's competition. We can compare everything that happened this year to everything that happened last year. But we can't compare both. So, we have to say, in a repetition of last year's competition, this year's National Spelling Bee ended with 2 co-champions. So the same thing happened both years. The TV rating of this season's show is better than those of last season. Well, those is plural. Rating is just one number. So we have to say the TV rating of this season's show is better than that of last year. The rating from last year, that of last year. Remember, that is singular and those is plural. As represented in medieval European statues, the wings of gargoyles are more expansive than bats. Well, gargoyles are statues, bats are living animals. So the wings of gargoyles, the wings from gargoyles, we could compare that to the wings of bats. But we can't compare the wings, which is one piece, to a whole creature. We can't compare a piece to a whole. So, as represented in medieval European statues, the wings of gargoyles are more expansive than those of bats. Plural, those of bats.